Good evening, YouTubers. We're going to be talking about Primebit tonight. But before we jump into this site, because this is one that I really do like, I want to just say it has been depressing as I have been surfing through YouTube over the last couple days, hearing all these horrific stories about people losing their life savings to things like BitConnect. And can I just say, don't do that. If you are visiting this website and what you're looking to invest or consider investing in is not expendable income, that is money that you're okay with if you lose. Now, again, what we're trying to do whenever we look at these websites is make money, but every one of them are volatile, including the entire cryptocurrency platform right now. Even investing in the coins themselves, we know that they lose half their value in a 1 month period. So let me just say, if you do not have expendable cash, this is not the channel or the place for you. So I would say move on. I don't want anybody losing money that they need. Don't do that. This is just my experience, first of all, because I am not a financial advisor and I'm not advising you on what to do with your money. This is simply my experience on these platforms. So if you dig these, if you enjoy them, either watching other people invest and seeing their experience, just learning about the platforms, or even investing, and you have that kind of expendable income that, hey, maybe you'll make a little money on, maybe you'll lose it, then cool, that's great. But don't spend money that you need. I don't want anybody losing money that they need for their family or for other things. So, okay, on to Primebit. Again, guys, I typically do videos in the morning. This is one that I've been following for about 48 hours. There's multiple things I like about this one. One of the things, first of all, is all the press that I've seen on it. So if you look on YouTube, you can see multiple people YouTubing about this particular site, confirming payouts, showing those payouts, showing their blockchain transaction. So number one, I like that. And I'm going to pull up a screenshot here for you, and we're going to do some comparisons. But the second thing that I really like about this particular site is this, the numbers. You know me, I'm a stats guy. Bit sequence was one of those that, as we followed the stats, we saw what was coming, and those stats proved to be true. Now, we're making some assumptions when we look at this site that these are an accurate reflection of where this company is with both their number of members as well as their withdrawals and their deposits. But if this is accurate, this is the type of site that I look for. So first of all, we look over here, days online. We see that it's only 5 days online. And actually, you can see this was a screenshot that I took at 9 a.m. I'm not sure where this site is located. And it is only about 9 o'clock in the evening here. But wherever this website is located, it's shifted over to February 1st. So this is a reflection of about 12 hours, okay? So first of all, we see 4 to 5 days online. We like that a lot. The second thing we're looking at is total withdrawals. And if you can see, this is crazy, the amount of Bitcoin that this company both is paying out and that they have deposited here in a 5-day period. So I like that for multiple reasons as well. One, it tells us that this is well marketed. The fact that I'm seeing them all over YouTube already is telling me that they're getting their site out to the public. And we know that that's critical for the sustainability of a site like this. So as we look at this, the total withdrawals, we see that today in about a 12-hour period, it looks like there's been about 4 Bitcoins withdrawn in this, okay, which is a pretty significant amount, but not when we end up looking at the total numbers. Over here, as we're looking at total members again in a 12-hour period, we see over 2,000 people signing up. So the energy is building on this one. The momentum is growing, which we like that. Then as we look at the total deposits, because again, what we're always taking a look at, what are they bringing in relative to what is leaving? We see that they have almost 90 Bitcoin that have come in over the last 12 hours. So that in itself is something that, when we're looking at factors or conditions, when we're considering putting money in this, and when I say we, I mean me, those are the types of things that I'm looking for. Okay, so onto the site. This one is very simple. What I suggest to everybody is If you just want to explore the site, fantastic. If you don't want to invest, it's not for you, then don't do it. In order to actually look at the website, and the actual dashboard looks very similar to what you see here, but in order to do that, you do have to sign up. Now you can sign up without investing anything, and I'll have a link down below if you want to do that. But the sign up process, there's not much to it. It allows full anonymity. It's one of the things that we always like. Whatever name you want to put in here, a username of your choice, the passwords, include your Bitcoin account. Again, that is your receiving account for payouts on this, an email address that works, and a secret question. I guess that's their security on this particular website. So nothing complicated or out of the ordinary with that. Now I'm going to do things a little bit out of order on this. I want to show you what their investment plans are first. And at first glance, as I was looking at this, I was a little worried because I'm seeing 150% payout after one day. Now that is true, but only if you're investing, as you look down here, 50 Bitcoin. Okay, so nobody's doing that on a platform like this. And the way this works is this is based on the amount that you put in. Now you do have a choice on whether you want to go for 1 day, 5 days, 10 days, or after 15 days, or this crazy special plan down here of 30 days. But your return is based on what you are putting in and the amount of time that you commit to this. Now, one of the factors that I like about this is that you can just do a 24-hour investment and then pull everything out. So when they say 104% on that, I'm going to jump back over here to the home page. When they say 100 or 150%, you have to see that that includes your principal amount. So really what they're talking about on that is a 4% return daily. Now that's much more reasonable, much more sustainable. The only way you're getting 150%, and again, that's really only a 50% rate, is if you are investing these crazy numbers. So even as we look down here, the first increment goes from what, about $10 up to 0.5 Bitcoin, so $5,000. That's a huge amount for a site like this. So almost everybody's going to be in this range. There may be a few that venture down here, but if you're risking that kind of money, you're absolutely crazy on this. So one of the things I like is that you can put this in for 24 hours and make 4% and then pull it out if you want to. So let's head back over to the dashboard for a minute. Nothing too crazy here. Just shows all the basic information you can see here. I just invested today on this, put in 0.0075 Bitcoin. So like I told you, I never make a whole lot on these websites, and I never lose a whole lot on these websites, which keeps it fun, which keeps it interesting, and keeps the anxiety levels low. Now let's run up here to the fact sheet. This is typically where you can find the basic information that you need. As you look down here, a lot of this is just telling you how to get a Bitcoin account, how you make a deposit, and I'll actually show you that in detail. But it's pretty typical to most of the other hypes that we look at. The payment tool that they use on this is only Bitcoin. Litecoin and all the other cryptos are not accepted on this. Again, all these questions. How do I find the exchange rate? I'm assuming most people that are considering an investment like this or putting money in, you're familiar with the transaction, how you take from your wallet and deposit, and then how you withdraw. I'll show you a little bit on how that works, but I'm assuming most of you understand that. It does ask this question, and this is one thing you should be aware of if all your other investments have been in things like Litecoin. Typically the transfer rate on that is much faster, although for me with my Bitcoin, when I did do my transfer, it actually hit my account. The system for Bitcoin is working very quickly right now, so like I said, it was in within an hour and a half, and then immediately that deposit was made. It talks about the confirmations. It does say that you can have deposits simultaneously. So if you get in and you're 12 hours in and you decide you want to do another deposit, you can do those. Those are all separate transactions. It asks if and it can't really answer these questions. So you click on this, like for example, do I get profit after specific period or plan has expired even on the weekends? And I can answer that for you down here. It says yes, you do get payments, and I believe you can do investments on weekends as well. But as far as the specific times and expirations and when you can collect on those, that depends on that type of deposit that you choose, whether it's 24 hours, whether it's 5 days, whether it's 15, and I will demonstrate that. It asks if you can do automatic compounding on this, and the answer is no, but really you can. It's just not automatic. So as it says down here, can I make a deposit directly from my balance, or shall I first withdraw the funds? One of your options is, it says our system allows you to accumulate funds on the balance of your account, which you can use as a source for the creation of a new deposit. So if you keep in mind when your 24 hours expires, you can take that money along with the interest and then reinvest it right away. So in essence, it does allow compounding every 24 hours, depending on whether you have enough to compound. So the minimum deposit on this is about $10, $10.50. I think it's 0.001 Bitcoin. So depending on what you put in, it does allow for compounding daily if you can meet that minimal reinvestment requirement. The withdraw process is very simple. I've watched multiple YouTubers do that. Here's the minimum amount of withdrawal. Yes, like I said, 0.001, which is currently about 1050, a little bit less than that. After I make the request, when will the funds be available for my Bitcoin wallet? One of the things you have to keep in mind, this doesn't give you a specific time. It says it takes some minutes or some hours. So maybe a few hours before they process it, and then kind of at the whim of the Bitcoin network and how long it takes them to get that processed. Now, once the confirmation is made from this particular website and it's onto the blockchain, then you're good to go. It's just a matter of how long it'll take for that to actually hit your wallet. Then it talks, I'm looking down here a little bit about referral commissions. I'm trying to think of see if there's any other critical information that you need on here. And you're welcome to browse through all this, but very standard. Okay, so nothing else. And again, if you have questions on this, you can always leave them down in the comments. I'm happy to answer those. This is my first 24 hours on this as well. So back to the dashboard. Let me give you an example here of a deposit. So if you wanted to deposit now, and all of this worked very well for me. I had no issues with this, the deposit process or it actually hitting for me. Now pay attention up here. So here is where you choose which of the programs you want. Now for me, again, what I love about this is I can do this for one day. So as a stat guy, as I pay attention to money coming in and money going out, and when those percentages are starting to change or when they're getting to the break even point, I can withdraw within 24 hours of that, which is great. Had we had that option on a platform like BitSequence, then everyone could have pulled everything out. Now on BitSequence, that was one of those that your deposit stayed in for what they called a lifetime, right? So we could never pull that out. We had to base everything on the factors that were surrounding BitSequence at the time. Watching the numbers, seeing those numbers change, we had about a 4-day, 5-day window where we saw that change, where you could withdraw, but depending where you were on the process in that whole thing, how early you were invested, a lot of people couldn't get all their money out. Now, people like me, we were right at the break-even point, and there were some that were way ahead on the whole thing. But part of what handicaps you on a platform like that is you just don't have flexibility. You can't take it out beyond, how quickly your interest is being generated. On a platform like this, it's occurring every 24 hours if you choose this option. Then let me show you how that works. So let's say you wanted to put 150 bucks in. You make sure, these are the ways that you choose the different investment. You make sure that you choose this first one, which is a 24-hour investment. You go down here, I'm not going to plug any numbers here. We see they have 0.001, which is a little over $10 in Bitcoin. Now, the one thing that does stink when it's only Bitcoin, you have to pay the transaction fees, when you're making your original transfer from your Exodus wallet to this account. But you can see down here then the terms are defined. So 104 to 150%. Again, that's based on the amount of Bitcoin that you're investing. For most of us, that's just going to be a 4% return. And then everything is standard down here. It gives you the address to send it to, as well as the amount of Bitcoin. If this is your first time on a platform like this, or you're considering that, you're simply, for example, at your wallet, you choose Bitcoin, you choose send, and it'll ask for what wallet address or for what address you want to send it to, and that's this right here. And then it'll ask you for the amount that you want to send. And on like an Exodus wallet or even Coinbase, I believe they add on whatever the network fees are. So you plug this in, they'll add on the network fees, and you hit send. And then that'll automatically be deposited in this particular program. Now, if we go back, you'll see if I choose this particular box, go down and do the exact same thing at 0.001 Bitcoin, you see the terms are defined and they're different from that previous investment that we looked at. So just consider that as you go through. It's not real clear when you're up here on the main deposit site that this is where you're actually choosing that. You just want to make sure you're not, like clicking down here on 30 days when really it's a 24-hour deposit time that you're after. Now, you might ask down here what this looks like on compounding. So let's say I put $100 in. Okay, if I were to keep that in for, let's say, 5 days, I didn't want to commit to this yet. I just wanted to do it individually for 5 days. This is what it would look like, and I have a compounding calculator up already. So $100 at 4% interest rate daily, and that's actually not true on here because since it's a $10 minimum, if I made $4 daily, it would take me 3 days before I could reinvest. But just to display this, I'm using this number. Let's say a 5-day term, and including weekends, reinvesting at 100%. Let's say you had the option of actually doing that. If you look down here at the bottom, you can see that that would only generate $121.67. So that explains then the difference on this. So what did we say? $121. So they're giving you a little bit extra if you're willing to commit to that 5-day period. Now, when you commit to that, you're losing your flexibility or your ability to pull it out on a daily basis. So you'd have to make decisions on what you thought about this website. The numbers look really good right now, but depending if people jumped in for 10 days or 15 days or even 30 days, then we could start to see those statistics, fluctuate a little more drastically based on the withdrawals that would happen based on those higher interest rates. So for someone like me who's looking to jump in for a little bit, I love this. I can jump in for 5 days as I'm monitoring things, and if things start to not look good, then I can jump out. I love that flexibility. Now, is the return rate super high on this at just really 4%? No, it's not. But it also feels like a little bit of a safer investment because I have the flexibility. In reality, we know that none of these are safe investments. Okay, so as you click on all these, it's all the standard stuff. Showed you how to do the deposits on that. If you click here, you can see your deposit history and your earnings. You can withdraw funds or look at your withdraw history. Again, that's a very simple process. If you're interested in referrals, here's banners if you're looking at promoting this website. And then, if you click on settings, it's kind of standard. Just takes you back to the original information that you put in, so you can change that if you need to for any reason. Now, one of the other things that I liked about this particular site is the payout proof. So if you click on here, again, as I explained, wherever this website is hosted, it's already February 1st, so it's showing nothing on here, considering it's still January 31st where I am. But if I click on that and look at proof of payments, it actually shows me the payments, the transaction ID, and I can click on any of these individually, as well as this button to verify, and it'll take me directly to the blockchain and it'll show me where it is in the process. And that's handy because if you're looking at this, if you're considering maybe you're doing 24 hours and 24 hours, you're just going back to back to back that way. Before you make that next investment for 24 hours, you can click over on the verify just to make sure that they're still paying out. You don't have to, wait for YouTube videos to come up to say, hey, payouts have stopped. You have the flexibility to just take a look at that on your own. So I thought that was kind of a cool feature on this. So anyway, guys, this is the next one that I am personally jumping into. I am not recommending that you do. This is one, again, that's highly volatile because cryptocurrency in general is. This is also one, though, that when we're looking at some of the basics on this, such as the stats that they're providing down here, we really like those numbers. And again, I would encourage you, if you're doing this, it's one of those that I'm going to be doing periodic updates on, but I encourage each of you to look at this yourself. You can do the calculations very quickly to see what the withdrawals look like, how quickly that percentage is climbing, as well as how well is this thing being marketed? How many new people do we have coming in on a daily basis, which continues to support the platform, which allows it to go, on for longer and longer. So it's one of the reasons I like this particular one. I also have another one that I'm looking at, but before I presented it on here, I wanted to make sure and confirm that they're doing payouts. So I am only about 48 hours into that one, so I haven't been able to do that. On Primebit, I was able to see multiple on YouTube where payouts were confirmed, as well as seeing it actually on the blockchain over here on payment proof. So this is one that I have a little more confidence in for the moment. That doesn't mean that it couldn't be gone tomorrow. Be somebody that takes a look at the facts on this, or at least what they provide, and be someone that doesn't spend money that you're, not afraid to lose on this. So anyway, guys, that's about it for today. If this has been helpful for you, if this is a website that you're interested in, click on the link down below. That'll get you direct access to that. And as always, I appreciate any commissions that come in through that kind of thing. For me, it makes the time I put into the videos well worth it. So I appreciate that. If this has been helpful for you, though, hit the subscribe button down there, the like and share. As always, that's appreciated. But I'll be keeping you updated on this and what the statistics look like. And I will see you soon. Thanks.